Welcome to the Deep Dive, your essential briefing on the strategic shifts happening across the global AI ecosystem. Today is December 16th, 2025. And the news today confirms, really, a monumental pivot.
It absolutely does. The whole high-stakes competition in AI, it's no longer just about who has the biggest model.
Exactly. It's about who is best at system architecture, at orchestration.
And verifiable reasoning, that's the new narrative. Raw compute scale, while, still critical, is becoming the starting line, not the destination.
So intelligence is now being extracted through these more sophisticated metasystems.
Right, models that critique, that refine, that verify their own outputs. At the same time, you've got this tech accelerating enterprise adoption, hitting hardening regulatory barriers and kicking off some immense geopolitical friction.
We're unpacking a massive flow of news today. There's the intense product rivalry between OpenAI and Google, NVIDIA's subtle but huge move to control the software layer for supercomputing.
And what the first real measures of AI-driven ROI look like in the enterprise.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the lab breakthroughs that are redefining how we even measure intelligence.
What's fascinating here is the sudden focus on efficiency, on speed in reasoning. Researchers are actively finding ways to make models smarter without, having to retrain them on petabytes of new data.
Exactly. And the clear proof point comes from two pieces of research. First, item A1, asynchronous reasoning. This is from Yandex and some academic partners.
Yes, async reasoning. It's a training-free method, which is key. It's a technical breakthrough, really. It exploits these geometric properties inside the model. They're called rotary positional embeddings, or ROP.
And that lets the model handle information in parallel.
Precisely. Think of it like this. Instead of the model having to read, pause, think, then speak sequentially, this technique lets it multitask. It can concurrently think, listen, and generate.
So 3 streams at once.
Right. And the result is incredible for applications that need to be responsive.
Yeah.
They reduced reasoning latency by anywhere from 6 to 11 times.
6 to 11 times. That makes real-time responsive voice assistance immediately viable.
It does. It turns a slow, thoughtful AI into a fluid conversational partner.
But the biggest proof that smart architecture is beating raw scale comes from item A2. The startup Poetic achieved a huge milestone.
A huge one. They successfully surpassed results from Google's massive Gemini DeepThink model.
On the ARC AGI2 reasoning task, which is notoriously difficult.
And this is a textbook example of the architectural shift we've been tracking. Poetic won using sophisticated orchestration layers, a kind of critique, refine, verify meta system.
So they didn't build a bigger model.
No, they built a smarter system around a capable model. This result validates that superior, verifiable reasoning comes from architecture, not just the raw parameter count.
Speaking of testing intelligence, the goalposts themselves are moving. OpenAI introduced a new, tougher metric in the U.S.
The Frontier Science Benchmark.
Yeah, right.
It's designed to evaluate expert-level scientific reasoning across physics, chemistry, biology.
And this was needed because the older benchmarks, like GPQA,
They were saturated. The models had essentially started to memorize the answers. The Frontier Science Benchmark requires multi-step hypothesis generation. It forces the AI to synthesize new ideas.
And how did their latest model do?
OpenAI's GPT 5.2 scored 77% on the demanding Olympiad subset. It establishes a much more challenging metric for measuring actual potential.
We also saw significant progress in biology and from, well, an unexpected source.
Apple, yes.
Their researchers introduced SimpleFold. It's a diffusion-based model that generates folded protein structures from sequences.
The method here is what's new. By shifting to a diffusion model, they've reduced the computational demands dramatically compared to something like AlphaFold.
So it's more accessible.
Much more. SimpleFold achieves state-of-the-art accuracy on the CAS P15 benchmarks, which accelerates drug discovery for research groups that don't have, massive supercomputing grants.
Before we leave research, we have to touch on data inequality.
A critical topic. Cohere Labs released the Afriaya Vision Language dataset.
And this was created by Ugandan engineers.
Which is so important. It's a direct, necessary intervention. It addresses the dramatic underrepresentation of African contexts in global AI training data.
Where models often fail just because they haven't seen the world as experienced in Africa.
Exactly. The initial release covers 13 languages, working to ensure AI works more equitably for these underrepresented populations.
And finally, a sobering measure from China on how far multimodal AI still has to go.
Right. From Shanghai AI Laboratory and Fudan University, they developed the MSI Video Bench.
This is a benchmark that tests MLLM's multimodal large language models on video-based spatial intelligence.
And the results? They highlight a massive stagnation. State-of-the-art MLLMs are stuck at around 38% accuracy.
Compared to what for humans?
96.4% accuracy for humans. It just confirms that while models can generate beautiful video, true spatial understanding, and causal reasoning within a video frame, that remains a largely unsolved problem.
So if research is moving toward efficiency and orchestration, let's see how that translates into the product battle in segment B. The generative rivalry is hitting full velocity.
And it's really OpenAI versus Google. The core metric now seems to be speed.
While OpenAI fired a massive competitive shot today with the GPT Image 1.5 update.
A major update. They integrated their visual capability fully into the GPT ecosystem. It has significantly higher fidelity and better instruction following.
And here's the strategic point. The new model runs up to 4 times faster.
That fourfold speed improvement is the whole story. It transforms image generation from a time-consuming background task
Where you wait 30 seconds for a result.
into a real-time creative co-pilot. Velocity is now the dominant feature needed to monetize generative AI.
China is prioritizing speed and media integration as well.
Right. Alibaba Cloud released its Wangxian 2.6 cinematic video model. It supports 15-second clips. The key feature here is China's first role-playing capability in a video model.
Role-playing, what does that mean in this context?
It allows users to preserve a consistent character identity and voice across multiple generated shots. It's a major advancement for media production workflows.
Okay, that makes sense. And the agentic movement autonomous AI designed to act for you is now fully mainstream.
It is. Google launched a significantly upgraded Gemini Deep Research Agent. It's available through its Interactions API.
Optimized for long-running multi-step tasks.
Exactly. Information gathering, synthesis. It gives developers worldwide direct access to these sophisticated autonomous research tools. And Google is standardizing it by open sourcing the benchmark, Deep Search QA.
And for the everyday user, Google Labs launched CC.
CC, right. An experimental AI assistant built on Gemini that connects to your Gmail, Calendar, and Drive.
And what does it do?
It synthesizes a predictive your day-ahead briefing. It delivers actionable summaries in the morning by analyzing your commitments and communications.
Available in early access for paid users in the US and Canada.
It's a strategic move, tying their advanced models into these integrated, personalized productivity services.
To close out the product segment, Google also rolled out its preferred sources feature in top stories globally.
For English language search users, yes, this is critical for content creators.
It lets you prioritize trusted news publishers in your results.
And Google reports that when a user selects a preferred source, they are twice as likely to click through to that site. It's a mechanism to try and boost visibility for original news creators.
Okay, it's clear system architecture is winning, but none of that happens without the right hardware. Let's talk about the biggest infrastructure power move of the day in segment C.
This is a huge strategic move by NVIDIA, and it goes well beyond just selling silicon.
They completed the acquisition of SkedMD,
The company that created Slurm, the leading workload management software for high-performance computing clusters.
Slurm is essentially the traffic cop for supercomputers, right?
That's a perfect way to put it. It decides which jobs run where and when. Since Slurm powers over 50% of the world's top supercomputers this move, it signals NVIDIA's shift to controlling the software layer.
The layer that orchestrates the compute workloads.
It's a massive ecosystem grab. It moves them from being just a hardware supplier to controlling the fundamental infrastructure utility.
And they're optimizing their existing hardware to justify that control.
They are. NVIDIA also introduced MLPart in CUDA MPS. It's a new feature for their Blackwell GPUs that partitions a single GPU into multiple logical subdevices.
Which is for what kind of workload?
It's designed specifically for mixed workloads. It improves utilization by providing dedicated memory pools to lower memory access latency.
So faster inference for smaller models running alongside big training jobs.
Exactly.
Geopolitically, the push for sovereign silicon continues.
It does. China's AI chip startup, Biren Technology, is preparing to launch a Hong Kong IPO.
They're targeting about $300 million.
And this just highlights China's ongoing push for indigenous AI semiconductor capability, despite the persistent U.S. export restrictions.
Meanwhile, consolidation is accelerating in the U.S.
Yes, Intel is reportedly pursuing the acquisition of Sambanova Systems,
a company specializing in AI inference workloads with a unique architecture.
the Reconfigurable Data Flow Unit, or RDU. The reported value is $1.6 billion, and it just shows Intel is trying to rapidly strengthen its position in specialized AI accelerators.
And finally, to address the infrastructure crunch, Accenture is making a major move.
A very big move. They're acquiring like a 65% stake in DLB Associates, a U.S. consultancy specializing in AI data center engineering.
So this is about building out the capacity.
It is. It bolsters Accenture's end-to-end data center services, positioning them to address the massive infrastructure constraints we're seeing from the relentless global demand for AI.
Let's pivot to segment D, policy, governance, and standards. The regulatory environment is creating immediate conflict here in the U.S.
Absolutely. The Trump AI Executive Order, EO 14365, was officially published today.
And this is the federal government's attempt to preempt state-level AI regulation.
It is. And the key friction point is a mandate for the Department of Justice to establish an AI litigation task force within 30 days.
To actively challenge restrictive state AI laws.
Right. And this creates immediate and, frankly, significant regulatory uncertainty for businesses operating across state lines. It forces them into a federal versus state legal battleground.
In parallel, the U.S. government is building out critical technical frameworks.
Yes, NIST released the preliminary draft of its cybersecurity framework profile for AI.
This gives practical guidelines for risk management, secure model training, adversarial robustness.
And the scale of input here is just staggering. Over 6,500 individuals contributed to this. It's really the de facto standard for AI cybersecurity guidelines in the U.S. now.
Across the Atlantic, the EU unveiled a health and biotech package,
including a new Biotech Act aimed at fast-tracking the development of therapies using AI and data.
So this is regulation being used to direct innovation, not just restrict it.
Exactly. By explicitly mandating the adoption of AI tools in EU health systems, the policy is designed to boost Europe's biomanufacturing and accelerate R&D.
And in a critical, proactive move, the industry itself stepped up on governance.
It did. The Linux Foundation announced the formation of the Agentic AI Foundation,
a neutral body to establish open, vendor-agnostic standards for agent interoperability and safety.
This is a preventative measure. This industry effort to standardize protocols like RSL 1.0 is designed to stop regulators from imposing, potentially non-technical or overly restrictive compliance rules. It lets the industry define practical safety rules first.
Finally, the U.S. FDA is considering a flexible approach for AI in mental health.
A multi-phase life cycle approach to regulating AI-enabled mental health medical devices.
And this phased approach could set a powerful precedent, couldn't it?
It really could. It would potentially allow a path from, say, prescription-only human oversight in the early phases, all the way to autonomous over-the-counter access in a future phase.
Provided the AI demonstrates enough safety and efficacy maturity.
Right.
Our final segment, E, enterprise and capital. This shows exactly where the money and the real-world returns are landing, starting with Databricks.
Databricks announced raising over $4 billion in a Series L round today. It vaulted its valuation to a massive $134 billion.
Up 34% in just 3 months.
It's incredible. And it just underscores the immense investor confidence in platforms serving that enterprise AI infrastructure demand. The real money is being made selling shovels to the AI gold rush.
And the ROI figures are getting concrete. JPMorgan Chase detailed its enterprise AI strategy.
$18 billion annual tech budget. It's supporting a proprietary LLM suite platform.
And the return?
Their platform is driving 30 to 40% year-over-year growth in AI-attributed benefits. It's tackling over 450 internal use cases and is used daily by 200,000 employees.
30 to 40% ROI is huge, especially for a regulated bank. I mean, should we take this figure at face value, or is this more like internal marketing?
That's the critical question, isn't it? And while these figures are from internal reporting, they're not subject to the same scrutiny as, say, JAP accounting. The sheer volume 450 use cases, 200,000 employees, it lends credibility to the underlying benefit. Even if the exact percentage is high, they're measuring real efficiency gains.
We're also seeing agentic AI move into critical clinical practice.
In the UK, yes. Oxford University Hospitals launched the Trusted MDT pilot with Microsoft.
It's a multi-agent system to assist oncology teams in cancer treatment planning.
And this is a major step, moving autonomous AI into these regulated clinical settings. The system synthesizes complex inputs, genomics, pathology reports, history into a structured summary.
So it reduces the manual data review time for the human doctors.
Dramatically.
On the global front, Google is making a major investment in India,
committing $8 million to 4 government-backed AI centers of excellence.
This aligns directly with India's national AI strategy, right?
It does. It focuses on critical areas like healthcare, urban governance, education, and agriculture. And it echoes the fact that India recently jumped from 7th to 3rd place in global AI competitiveness.
And in global relations, OpenAI hired former UK Chancellor George Osborne.
To lead OpenAI for countries, a government relations program. This move just signals that OpenAI recognizes political engagement is now a mandatory component of market valuation and risk assessment.
Finally, on data monetization, Meta's new AI personalization policy took effect today.
This policy allows the use of text and voice interactions with Meta AI for personalizing content and ads across their platforms.
But not everywhere.
Right. And importantly, this expansion of data collection for advertising is happening in most regions except the EU, the UK, and South Korea. It really highlights the global divergence in data privacy laws.
Okay, so if we quickly recap the key narratives today. The poetic win proved orchestration matters more than raw size.
And the enterprise is seeing concrete ROI in the 30 to 40% range, but that success is clearly unevenly distributed based on who has the data.
The strategic takeaway is clear. AI is now a race for system architecture, data integration, and compliance maturity.
And geopolitically, you have this paradox of the U.S. attempting export control while China's domestic chip firms like Byron are confidently accessing global capital.
Let's get you caught up with the tools and numbers you can use today before we go. For advanced Google AI subscribers, the Google Labs CC AI agent is now in early access for US and Canada users. It organizes your day by synthesizing your Gmail and calendar.
And for developers running high-performance workloads, check out NVIDIA CUDA MPS MLO part. This new feature lets you partition a single Blackwell GPU into dedicated sub-devices to get drastically lower memory latency. It's for fast, optimized inference.
And the numbers of the day?
Number 1, $134 billion. That is the massive valuation achieved by Databricks today after raising over $4 billion. Just underscores the relentless capital flow into enterprise AI infrastructure.
And number 2, 4 times faster. That is the generation speed improvement for OpenAI's new GPT Image 1.5 model. It signifies that velocity and responsiveness is now the dominant monetizable feature for generative AI.
You know, the consensus is shifting fast. Farand Europe report today noted that some European leaders now anticipate AGI human-level reasoning as early as 2026.
That brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. If AGI timelines are collapsing this quickly, what happens when the complex multi-agent systems designed for efficiency gains in fields like oncology, coding, and finance start exhibiting complex social behaviors? Things like the competitive envy that researchers are only just beginning to measure in their lab simulations. The tools might be getting exponentially smarter, but are they fundamentally stable in a competitive environment? That's what we'll be watching next.